you're trying to achieve from this workshop. Very happy to see many familiar faces here, as has been told during the introduction that I was part of LNMIT. In fact, almost you can say the founding member. The very first function on this land, I had contributed a lot and various other things which are there. On behalf of government, I was kind of identified. Government was a partner initially. I don't know how much is the role now. They did give land and they did give other things. So I remember that. So I used to be consulted. So I feel very happy and privileged that I was associated with LNMIT in this way. And today is another occasion. This is a hall where we have met many a times. Many of us, of course, decided many things, including the starting of the mechanical engineering here in the institution or some of the other things which happened. So today I'm going to talk to you about basically some educational reforms. When Professor Saula informed me about this, there were elements of NEP, there were elements of, say, technology, there were elements of what you call accreditation and maybe the new reforms which are there. So all put in, I've just said NEP 2020, a framework for educational reforms. So I'll be deliberating on some of the points which I thought might be of use to you. Some of these might be known to you, doesn't matter. Sometimes a different example, sometimes a different way or context can make the point more. You can probably accept it more easily compared to any other consideration when you have that, oh, whether this is going to work or not. So slowly and gradually those changes will get seeded in. And that's why I'm going to talk about some of them. So with this, I have not put any outline per se that what am I going to discuss in terms of content or whatever. Is this functioning? Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so basically I'll start with NEP because I consider it to be a wonderful document. Some of you may have different views. Of course, we know that the language thing is being criticized or being discussed in different parts of the country in a different way. But language is generally my choice or one's choice, and that liberty has been given, by the way, by the NEP. So whether it's 3 language or 4 language or multiple language, most of us feel proud when we know multiple languages, and therefore we should be open to that. But anyway, we'll talk about that. In this presentation, whatever time I have, maybe another 55 minutes or so, you are welcome to interrupt me if you have some different view or you'll have some question. It's not necessarily just a delivery of some thoughts. It's more of an interaction. And of course, at the end also we can do if you so like, but we can do it in between also. I don't mind. And maybe later also, my email is very simple, sandeepsancheti@gmail.com. So you can always write to me. And that's how I'll also learn, and that's how possibly you will also learn if you have some different views. So you can say that these are the black ones were the black marks, you can say, in the higher education system prior to NEP. Whatever you are seeing in the black here were the poor performance elements which were listed in NEP document itself. And the ones in the green which I have given to you are possibly the answers to that. So for example, higher education ecosystem was fragmented, but here the fragmentation has been removed from everywhere to everywhere, KG to PG. Some fragmentation has been removed that you can move from one discipline to another very easily, things like that. So fragmentation has gone. So KG to PG can be an answer. Rigid separation of disciplines, MERU and multidisciplinary programs, and ABC is in the end. This last point is the ABC here. If you can, this is ABC, Academic Bank of Credit, which creates a framework. Limited access, obviously it's going to GER going to 50%, but more than that, you have seen that the access to IITs was very limited. But all of a sudden, IIT Madras is dealing with thousands and thousands of students. That's because of the technology and also the framework and change of mindset. institutional autonomy and all that. Basically, it will go not only to the teacher and institution, it will go to the students also to a very, very high degree or level. I'm going to explain you a little bit on that. Research, obviously, ANRF is the mainstay. Earlier it was called NRF, but now ANRF. Anusandhan is the this thing. But ONOS is one initiative. Unfortunately, private institutions are not covered. By the way, I must tell you that in all that generous introduction, every other detail was given about me. But today, I'm not purely in the academic world. I'm currently serving Elsevier as its vice president in India. Elsevier is a publication house, as you know, present in 180 countries currently. Typically world's biggest when it comes to science, technology, and medicine. Scopus and all that belongs to the Elsevier domain. So we are part of ONOS, but around 6,380 government institutions or colleges are going to be benefited by this One Nation, One Subscription. And there will be something more coming under this. And then governance was an issue, which will be by basically enterprise resource planning. But there will be the initiative which is being worked upon is One Nation, One Data. So probably your governance elements will become simpler and more transparent in time to come. And then regulatory system, here there is a challenge. HESI has not come, but every time I try to discuss, find out from Delhi something, maybe Professor Pandey can get us more authentic information from there, but they say, yes, it's happening, it's coming soon, it's work in progress, things like that. But I don't know when will it come. But there are aspects of regulatory systems which are changing now. And then large affiliating universities and all that possibly is also getting answered. So one can make cluster of 10 institutions which were affiliated and all that, and they can become a university and so on and so forth. So NEP is possibly giving answers to most of the things. So if I say some of the salient points, I'm sure some of you are following. These are the things which are continuation from the past, the ones in the green: access, equity, quality, accountability, transparency, and to some extent you can add the word inclusivity also. These are continuation. But what I found missing in that was speed and efficiency. These are the elements missing. NEP has not emphasized. So we have to do it personally. Unfortunately, for many things in India, we know we are sluggish. Our efficiency is not very high. Our speed is low. And I can give you privately some good examples. Publicly, it doesn't look nice when I criticize government or say anything openly. And there's one more element which you can add here is diversity. Diversity is there to some extent, but diversity can also be added because most of our top institutions are either only engineering or only medical or only law or only management, but they don't have the required diversity in their own platforms to do interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary things. So though one can claim that we have some diversity, but we don't have enough diversity also. So these are the aspects which are possibly poor or poorly represented in NEP. So we need to focus. This is what is anyway happening. I hope you have started offering these levels of programs and offering them. Multidisciplinary can be cross, trans, inter, intra, whatever, all those things can be there. Multiple entry, multiple exit looks very nice. And by the way, I must tell you that I was one of the ones who was behind the scene to formulate the policy called ABC, Academic Bank of Credit. And that's where this word emanated in 2019, early, multiple entry, multiple exit for us. And this was borrowed from our electronics. The multiple input, multiple output kind of a system, MIMO system, is what was the base when we coined this particular term. This is now known to everyone, but they are not able to understand it fully, that how to go about it, what will happen, what courses to be given, why certificate should be given. They take certificate and when they come back, what happens, and so on and so forth. That's for the implementing agencies to do. But fundamentally, most of the things are very clear. Then, of course, skill and vocational courses to be given its due, online and ODL to be given its due, in the sense you cannot discriminate by saying that this course was done online and offline and all that, not good, and so on and so forth. And then the language things are also there. And just one more slide on this. Education is going to be from the age group of 18 to 25 is what the conventional education system, but it will go to what you call 25 to 75. All of us will be matured learners, will be learning many things and will be leaving many things, okay? So we'll have a new system which will be for mature learners, promotion of internationalization. And as an example, I must say that IITs didn't do enough in internationalization. There was a time when they were almost banned, that they don't come through the competitive process. They have now opened up, that's required. Even my institution, which I was heading, NIT Surathkal, we tried to close it. But I argued with my faculty that let's not try to close it, let's try to improve it. And as a result, we approached government and the changes happened and various things got improved. But I'm happy that now everyone is doing it now. Blended, of course, will be from the Corona times, industry relevance, this internship thing which Prime Minister is driving, or Prime Minister's industry internship. I think today there was an announcement that the dates have been extended for the second version of that. Examination reforms are very much required typically. And this is what is the crux of delivering everything. Academic bank of credit. You can study anytime, anywhere, any mode, any subject, any language, or there can be many other, whatever way you like, you can expand it, and then you can possibly going to see. So the whole education is going to be student-centric, in the sense that we are not going to teach them what we want to teach. They are going to learn what they want to learn. Medium could be us, delivery can be from us. There can be various angles. I'm not saying that the teachers or the institutions will be marginalized or will not be required to do anything. That's not the case. But like we do in our life, that I choose the clothes which I want to wear, I eat the food which I want to eat, irrespective of my parents gave me guidance early or whatever kids do it now. We still are able to choose what we want. So would be the case here, even with all the support. So ultimately, it will be flexible education is what you are going to see. All right. And these are going to be the elements of various assessments or the frameworks for the outcome-based education also. ABC is a good platform which will allow an outcome-based approach, because the person who is getting educated knows what he or she wants. Right now, till some time back, best of the institutions, you come on this day, appear in counseling, sign this form, do this. If you don't do this, you are gone. The moment you come, you are automatically registered for 6 courses or 7 courses or 10 courses, whether you are interested in that or not, because your branch is fixed or system is fixed. Everything was more or less frozen. You fail in X number of subjects, you are gone, you are thrown out, or you are not continuing further or whatever. But today I can say, hey, I want to do only 2 courses in a semester, and I want to do it in my mother tongue. I may possibly appear in the examination later. Various things can be done. So that's so it basically means the flexible education. I love the word flexible. You can call it digital and physical and phygital and online and offline and whatever name you want to call it, blended and various things. I call it flexible because I like the word flexibility, because the flexibility is not of only distance, not of only physical or non-physical kind of a thing. In every sense, the education is becoming flexible. Time, space, cost, language, whatever. And therefore, I use the word flexible rather than blended generally. So I'm going to discuss a few aspects of this. I'm also going to touch upon the accreditation, by the way, which possibly is in your mind and is of core interest to you right now. In a general sense, I'm not going to talk about very specific things. I'm currently the part of NAC, which is developing the new system of accreditation, as you might have heard, binary accreditation system. And we did the 0th level or entry level things last May or June. I don't know what's happening in terms of further processing, because this should have been launched early. But we came to know recently that government wants that the other levels should also be known to us, and therefore we are working on that. I'm spearheading 2 of the committees for that, one on the curriculum and one on the faculty. So the new system is under evaluation, but that all comes from some of these things which I'm going to describe or discuss here, that how these are going to be considered while doing many things. All right. So if I were a student today, if I were to take admission in LNM IIT, what would I want is what I'm trying to reflect here. Okay, as a young student, I would like to pick my teacher, who is the best teacher. In most cases, I find school students crib about that. मेरी तो टीचर अच्छी नहीं है, अच्छा नहीं है, मेरे को जो दूसरा बच्चा है उसका टीचर अच्छा है, क्लास सेक्शन अच्छा है. So you can pick teachers, you can also pick timings, you can frame your courses based on your needs and interests. I'll give you an example in the end. You can design your degrees. I recently visited an institution which allows designing your own degrees. They really literally picked up the world. These slides must be at least 3 years old for me, some of these ideas which we thought, because they were built in ABC from the concept probably in 2019. But someone has picked up this. I can possibly give you the name of the institution also. Study through any mode. That's the real world. That when I want to study in the night, fine. I'm best when I'm listening to things. I'm best when I'm doing things. I'm best when I'm sitting in a class in an environment where more people are there. So I can study through any mode which I want. These are just some examples. These are not necessarily the complete set of things which a student will require. Just a minute, I'll complete this one. And then examination on demand. As I said, I eat when I want to eat. I sleep when I want to sleep. I see a movie when I want to see. Everything in my life I do what I want to do when I want to do. I think same could be applied to the education in a certain sense, that when I'm ready for examination, I should be subjected to examination. Right now, it's a frozen thing. So these are some of the things which are there, which if can be given to learners, can be supportive. As a teacher, we might feel little agitated, hey, what's going to happen to education? But then that's your life. When you buy a car, you do enough research and you make every parameter personalized. When you do a house, same with spouses. I don't know whether you get your choice or not, but you certainly try to do that also, isn't it? So why not for education, which is your foundation? Yes, sir. Got your point, yeah. Okay, can I answer that? I'll give you an example from slightly crude, but it'll make my point. I also love to eat when I go outside. Okay? I'm giving you a little crude example to explain to you this, but I hardly know anything about food. मुझे कई नाम अंग्रेजी में पता ही नहीं होते हैं जो अला कार्ट में कहीं लिखे हुए होते हैं. तो मैं वहाँ जाके चॉइस होने के बावजूद भी अला कार्टे में से कुछ नहीं ले पाता हूँ या बहुत कम ले पाता हूँ या स्टैंडर्ड चीज़ ले पाता हूँ. जाता हूँ तो सीधा बोलता हूँ भैया मुझे थाली दे दे, उसमें जो आता है जो अच्छा लगता है खा लेता हूँ. तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि चॉइस उसके लिए है जो चॉइस एक्सरसाइज करना चाहता है. चॉइस उसके लिए है जो चॉइस का एडवांटेज लेना चाहता है फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन. चॉइस देने का मतलब ये नहीं कि अब आपको जबरदस्ती ही उसको एक्सरसाइज करना है. So this scheme has a provision that those who understand, want to deviate, want to be flexible, want to be doing something different, can do it. That means that 60, 70, 80% can still remain in a standard prescription. Because if a student has to make a choice, he'll come to Dr. Sahula or Sandeep ji or anyone that what do I do? And we tell them. So that's a standard prescription, we can tell. But there are crazy, so I must give you an answer. If someone wants to do something like this, is LNMIT giving? Or my institutions were giving, though I'm one who is kind of saying that I intend to promote that. Let's say I'm a young student. My father has an engineering business, some manufacturing or something, I don't know, chemical business, whatever he may have. He intends that I should continue his business. And I also have an intent that my father's business is good. I need to continue. So obviously I should study something in engineering, whatever that branch may be. But because I'll be in business, I'll have to do something in management. That's fine. some HR business or finance or whatever it may be, production or whatever it may be. And then music is my interest. I want to do it. Given a full choice, if I was independent financially or whatever, I probably would have gone into the musical world by studying whatever I study about music. But where do I get this combination? Not very easy. So these are now going to be the possibilities of that. Yes, please.
For the same example, either I perform best in one of them. I cannot perform best in music. Either I have to sacrifice engineering or music.
So what is your question? Even after you given one combination, are they doing great? That's a question to you. आपने खाली इंजीनियरिंग में उनको बांध के रखा तब भी वो ग्रेट हो गए हैं? आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट LNIT, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट यू. आपको एक ही सब्जी और एक ही रोटी में खाने का और ट्रैफिक का एग्जाम्पल काफी ज्यादा देता हूं कि वो हमसे रिलेट करता है. सबसे बढ़िया एक सब्जी बना के आपके घर में आपकी माता जी पिताजी आपको वो रोटी और एक सब्जी खिलाते रहें, आता है मजा. यू मेक योर ओन कॉम्बिनेशन. दो घर में 4 सब्जी बनती है, दाल बनती है, चावल, जो भी आपके पास पड़ा है, मिठाई जो भी है, आप कैसे खाते हैं वो आपकी इच्छा है. अब आप उस थाली में आपके नहीं आके बोलते हैं कि ये कम ज्यादा, शुरू में बोलते होंगे. द पॉइंट इज वी ऑल लव टू एक्सरसाइज और फ्लेक्स आवर मसल इन अ सर्टेन वे वेयर वी फील सेटिस्फाइड दैट हमने कुछ करा है. सो वी आर नॉट फोर्सिंग. आप उसको मैकेनिकल पढ़ना है पढ़ने दीजिए, उसको समझ में आ रहा है, पर उसको ये पता है कि मेरा बैकग्राउंड ये है. तो इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी दैट एवरीवन बिकम्स द बेस्ट. You become the best by practicing continuously. You become the best by doing what you like to do, and that is what we are providing here. Yeah. From the point of view of livelihood. Okay.
Until unless it's my just a query, like until unless the ecosystem is ready to accept that, how far is this choice going to serve a student? Like if my industry is not knowing what kind of thing people are like expecting from them, or maybe so, and apart from that, another point maybe that all these choices, incorporation in a university kind of a system, SOP or that kind of a thing, will vary from institute to institute.
Yes.
So that could also be a problem in long run. That's my perception.
See, everything which you do in life, you travel from one country to another, you work in one office to another or organization to another, culture will change, systems will change. It's up to you which institutions to go to. You come to MNIT and you find something lacking, you come to LNMIT, you still find something lacking, you can go to Manipal or you can go to the IIT Delhi, wherever you want to go. Right now it's foundation. IIT दिल्ली में घुस गया, छोड़ा उस दिन मेरा काम खत्म. एक सब्जेक्ट 50 जो क्रेडिट्स मुझे करने हैं, 50 क्रेडिट्स के 50 सब्जेक्ट्स करने हैं, मान लीजिए 3 क्रेडिट के 150 क्रेडिट पे डिग्री मिल रही है मुझे. सॉरी, आई एम यूजिंग हिंदी समटाइम्स. if I need 50 subjects and I fail in one, I fail only in one, thermodynamics, electromagnetics, which are supposedly little tougher subjects, my life is ruined. I'm gone. I'm a useless guy for society, for myself, for my family, everyone. There is a stigma attached to me that Sandeep Sancheti is not useful, he is not succeeded, whatever X, Y, Z. The point here is, yes, I have not succeeded in that, but I can be successful in life. Let me tell you, a large number of entrepreneurs of this particular land from where Mittal Saab himself has come, possibly have nothing much to do with the education formally or this level of education. Doesn't mean that education is redundant. Doesn't mean that everyone has to take education. Both ways it is true. So yes, choices for those who want to exercise. इसलिए मैंने आपको थाली का एग्जाम्पल दिया था. खाने में मैं बच्चों के साथ बैठता हूँ. When I sit with them, they keep explaining me, oh, you don't know this, you should have done this, mix this with this sauce with that sauce or whatever they keep. I said, यार मैं खा लूँगा, मेरे को जो भी अच्छा लग रहा है टेस्ट में, I'll manage it. So different people will have different approaches there. Just a minute, sir. एक मिनट सर के लिए. After that, come to you. Yeah.
This combination that you have shown here.
Yeah.
what kind of a name you would like to give to this degree?
I'll come to that
Or
answer.
it will be a certificate.
Okay, I'll come to that
So
answer.
there will be
I'm not
n
giving
number.
every-
There will be n number of combinations.
Yeah.
Other thing is about the previous example we're giving, fail in one subject or even two subjects. The life is not ruined because there is a concept of degree on demand. I have done that in my university.
Mhm.
If the person is continuously failing in one or two subjects, he can simply surrender and say, sir, give me degree on demand. I do not want to pass these subjects.
Okay.
This
Degree
facility
on
already
demand
there.
is something like that. Design your degree, something like that. Maybe you decide that I'm not going to do.
But what I'm saying is this concept is already there.
Okay, fine. I'm not saying everything is new here. I'm just saying what could be the wish list of a student. I'm not saying everything is
And
new here.
other thing, concept of multi-axis system was this thing introduced in slight longer while in 2013.
Okay.
And I have blog on this topic,
Okay.
and I have circulated this long back, much before 2019.
No, that way many concepts came, but they
And there
died
was
or
no
they
age.
taken.
Age was not no bar in my concept that I introduced in slight longer bar.
Of course.
And
I'm
that
aware
started
of
from
that.
class 10th
Okay.
to PhD.
I know that Longoval.
And then I
was plus-
introduced Central School starting from class 1 to PhD in the same campus.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'm not saying everything is brand new, but what I'm saying is NEP is an amalgamation of many things. And this anyway has nothing to do with NEP. This is a student's dream. If you are doing it, Sant Longoval, very fine, but that should have scaled up. That should have become a policy at a national level. Or if not policy, some framework should have come which would have propagated that. Anyway, there was one question which you had asked from the placement point of view, Vineet. So we know that some of the top companies in the world today are not even bothered about graduation, let me tell you. They simply say that, do you have that skill? Do you have particular information security related things? Good number of companies recruit people from even non-complete educational background, as we know. So the point is here that I tell the potential employer, hey, I know this. If you want to employ me for this purpose, I am available. Assess me that. Degree is one aspect of it. Okay, government possibly will have it. No. So everything is included. It may be course can be a skilled course can be a design course can be a fab related only hands-on kind of a thing. Yes, sir. You are asking something.
Voting वाला logic दिया ना कि ये सब खा लेगा. But how will parents will ensure that that nutrients are going in the proper direction or not in the kids?
अभी भी कर पा रहे हैं क्या पेरेंट्स से बताइए.
सर बट कुछ तो पॉजिटिव है ना. खिचड़ी बना खा लेगा तो उसको तो न्यूट्रिएंट्स मिल रहा है. ये तो पेरेंट्स
देखिए ना, यही तो बता रहा हूँ ना कि अगर आपके पास चॉइस है और उसका टेस्ट है और आप घर में बैठ के बात करते हैं या आपको कोई एक्सपर्ट कहता है कि ये करो तो आप कर लेते हो. पर अभी का जो सिस्टम है उसमें तो चॉइस है ही नहीं ना. अभी तो आप ये ले लेंगे, मान लीजिए पेरेंट्स ने कहा या मैंने कहा आपके बच्चे को, आपने मेरे बच्चे को कहा, तो ये हो सकता है. पहले तो नहीं था ना. तो जरूरी नहीं कि आपको ये लेना है. What I'm saying is it's possible. Please see, maybe I was also one like you. I can give you many examples of my life where I had the rigidity of certain framework when the changes happened. One of them was, I must give you an answer that there are many things in life which have taken 180-degree hit or shift now. Education space is a little slow to do. Possibly. An example of that would be examinations were highly secretive. But the real life 25 to 75 is all exams are open. Professor Pandey will tell me, Professor Sancheti, I need this answer from you tomorrow or a week later or 10 days later. From where I get the answer, books, journals, friends, internet, whatever my experience, I'm visiting someone. If I'm giving best answer, I'm the right person for him. That approach is nothing but an open book approach. All right, there is a problem and there is a solution required. So examinations have changed from closed to open. I must give you my own PhD example. When I was doing, by second year, I had done a good amount of work and my guide was this thing. And he used to challenge me that Sandeep, so-and-so person is going to come to examine you for your PhD thesis. This was in UK. He was typically the best. And obviously, internally, I was a little puzzled because I'm going to be challenged by someone. So I prepared very well. Everything was extra cautious. Everything was done with a little bit more intensity because I'm going to face. So those approaches worked very well for me when it came to my learning. So what I'm saying is this is there. I used to, when I became a teacher, I used to only know that cover the course. Everything start from the first line of the syllabus, detailing of the syllabus, cover. But today my approach is completely uncover the course, not cover the course. Earlier, everything which you used to do was basically given verbatim in the university or institutional guidelines. Someone makes the syllabus, someone teaching learning scheme, someone does the examination paper, someone evaluates it, and then someone gives the marking degree, whatever. Everything has to be done by me today. So many things which are there. Obviously, there are a large number of other changes which are there in the education system itself, but in the life also. I give some crude examples also. जब हम बच्चे थे, मुझे नहीं पता है कि आप मानते हैं नहीं मानते, आपके टाइम था या नहीं, हमें कहा जाता था खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे खराब, पढ़ोगे लिखोगे बनोगे नवाब. कितने नवाब बने ये तो नहीं पता है, पढ़े बहुत हैं. पर आज की तारीख में अगर आप देखेंगे कि अगर आप खेलोगे कूदोगे तो हो सकता है कि 16 साल की उम्र में आप बहुत अच्छा नाम कमा सकते हो. कबड्डी से लेके टेनिस से लेके क्रिकेट से लेके इतनी लीग्स हैं, इतना पैसा है कि जो एक नॉर्मल इंजीनियर बनने के बाद भी आपको 4-5 लाख का पैकेज मिल जाता है सालाना. मेरे ख्याल से कोई ऐसे बहुत सारे एवेन्यूज स्पोर्ट्स में भी बहुत आगे. व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज द वर्ल्ड इज चेंजिंग. आई एम नॉट सेइंग एनीथिंग इज परफेक्ट. You do what you like. Given a choice, if I was a young guy today, I would have certainly been a sports person. I know that with whatever I love and like. Yes, please.
Sports. I was looking at the podcast by the Gopi Chand, sports your badminton coach, and he was really concerned about the same scenario that you are discussing. That India or in any countries, the sports, for example, cricket, there is only 11 places in a cricket. It may be, if you combine it with IPL, there may be like 100. For a country like we have 140 crores, should we really encourage these sports leaving the education? Because
who said no? So I'm not saying that you can leave the education. I've never propagated that.
no, it's like
I'm
an
saying
encouragement.
take the education related to sports. Coaching is a good business. I'm not saying that everyone has to go to 11 this thing. India can make 10 teams for the international world also right now. But Ranji is also paying you what you call pensions today, Ranji. So, even an ordinary kabaddi player will possibly earn 10 lakhs a year very easily with many other supports which are available to you. What I'm saying is there are avenues, but forget about that. आप लोग ये इंजीनियरिंग करा रहे हैं, मैकेनिकल में, सिविल में और दूसरे कन्वेंशनल ब्रांचेस में, इलेक्ट्रिकल में, कहाँ जॉब्स हैं इंडिया में?
So actually, the problem comes when there are two organizations. That one NAP says we have freedom for student to achieve anything.
Yeah.
Wherever NBA focuses on to discourage such activity and focus on the program outcomes.
Wait. Everything will be outcome based. There is no doubt about
No, but
that.
as
Who
an
says that?
organization,
You are not doing it for sake of it.
No, as an organization, if I'm running a program and I have program specific outcomes, and according to NBA, I should focus on the articulation and numerical output for those outcomes only.
For everything, output and outcome will come. Surely, I've not gone into all that. All right. But would you like to go to a shop or a restaurant where they decide for you what to eat?
So on the point of view,
Or
of
you will
the-
decide what
no,
to
no, sir.
eat?
On as an organization or as a university, I am asking about my duties because NBA
Yeah, so
forces
we'll
us.
come to that. Don't worry. I'm going to show you many slides. Don't worry about that. But it is for sure that if I'm going to a restaurant and the guy comes there and says, Sandeep, आपको यही मिलेगा, मेरे restaurant की यही policy है, very likely will say hell with it. Very likely. All right. गरम चाहिए, ठंडा चाहिए, मसाला ज़्यादा, ये कम, वो जो भी है, वो सारी चीज मेरी choice है. You have to make provisions that you are able to serve large number. Government नहीं, इसमें responsibility is ours. Freedom is with us or the freedom is with the seeker. You are digressing now. Funding की अभी बात बाद में है, कर लेंगे आप चाहें. I can talk to you on these issues throughout the day. Let me tell you, funding is a very different subject, my dear. Yes, madam. Wait.
I think this combination which you've suggested, it is a Western concept, because in the West we see college education, university education, where they give you all kinds of combinations to study. But in the Indian context, as he's pointed out, I mean, I think it's very difficult, because we are only looking from one viewpoint, that is the student viewpoint. But how about the other side? How about the institutions who have to provide such kind of flexibility? For example, if we say that study through any mode and exams on demand, so how about the faculty, the resources?
Please understand, madam. I have got you. I said these are the dreams we have to reach there. If I were a student today, I would have said that I wanted. I'm not necessarily that.
Are we as a country ready for this
that
kind
you have
of
to decide. You put your conditions, sit down in your Senate. Okay, these examinations can be on demand. These subjects combinations can be possible. These are my elective limits which you can choose from. See, today everyone is giving minor degrees, joint degrees, integrated degrees, whatnot, various things which are there. But government does not force that you will give everything. You will sit in your Senate and decide. So I'm just saying a thing which a student can think today. Okay, and you are
then
saying
giving too much freedom to the student who probably would be very naive when he just enters the university, and then just leaving everything to him, to his demands.
I do not know why you guys are little not understanding. Choice is given. It's for me that I don't exercise the choice. LNM can say, hey, we are not going to give choice. Students will react to that. Government is not measuring LNM that how much degree of choices you are given. But government says this freedom can be given. It's up to you to decide. For example, I'll come to ABC, then many points will become clear to you. All right. I'm just setting the tone to tell you that a student can be, and what is Western, I don't understand. Everything which is good and is acceptable should happen here also. Western or non-Western does not matter. I give you an example. 10 years back, I was in a FICCI flow, ladies, this thing, they invited me to Bangalore for whatever reason. And they're all charged this thing, and they had invited some others. So we were 3-4 speakers. And I met a guy who was probably 10, 15 years younger to me. He had done the course in journalism. He gave his own story that he did BJMC or whatever that may be at that time. And after that, he wanted to learn more. And there were hardly any avenues in India. Everywhere he goes, there is some standard prescription that ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega, and which was not satisfying him. And then he explained about himself, and he was anyway doing very well when he was invited there. He said, after that, he became a little desperate, and he decided that he should go outside India to learn something more, what he wants. And he said, forget about going outside India. I wrote applications at 10 different places. The kind of answers they gave me, the kind of choices they gave me, kind of descriptions they gave me, itself was so educative for me without even taking admission that I could not dream that such things can happen. The point I'm saying is, it's up to oneself to decide what they want to do it. No one is forcing you. LNM will not say that you make the combinations like that. You can take pure mechanical engineering, civil engineering, whatever, computer engineering, whatever you want. But it's for those. See, in any set of data, typically I'm saying, not necessarily all the cases, if the extreme cases are taken care, the two extremes, if we can say on the lower side and the higher side, you can say that the scheme will be valid for the intermittent data also, generally speaking. So I can probably tell you why such schemes possibly would be there. But as I said, when it comes to food, I'll possibly not be exercising much of choices myself. But when it comes to maybe house or a car, I may still exercise a choice. It depends upon my taste, that how I want to go about it. I hope it's clear that this can be a dream of a student. Why so many are going to West? Why they are paying through their nose? Because they get these choices. They satisfy themselves in certain way, which they want to learn. And large number of these things Also, not only vary, probably the intensity of course, design, frame your courses. So I know I was also abroad for some time, so I know my kids enjoyed that, and they were, of course, in the school at that time. A kid can be in third or fourth standard, but his level may be lower. He will be assessed based on the age, but at a lower level, and the kid is advanced. Though he may be in third or fourth standard, he may be assessed for that. So one can take a little higher degree of course and learn more. One can take a little lower degree. Some frameworks of choices were available there. So these are some of the elements which you can do. See, ABC has come. ABC doesn't mean that every student will be taking degree from other institution or doing 5-7 courses from other institution. That's not the condition. But I want to do something very specific which is not available in LNM IIT. I can go to other institution and get the credits transferred nationally or internationally, like that. Okay, fine. So these may be some of the methods. Courses can be demand driven. Study abroad programs can be more common. Worldly experience is what you need because the world is shrinking, as you can say. Of course, MOOCs and all that will be based on credit transfer. So the policies are there for students. Presence of students in various policy making things like you can do the faculty board or maybe Senate or maybe board of studies or open houses, all that will be there. And then there can be other schemes by which you can open houses or HOD hours, you can take those feedback continuously and help them tell you what. Maybe yesterday I was talking to someone, they were very good about doing whatever there, but they were from the medical domain. But they didn't have such provisions that students can go outside and spend time to do entrepreneurship or do something differently. So this is there. And then, of course, online and open book and other examination systems and all these things can be what students might want. These are extensions of what you are doing already. Maybe you can say, sir, we are doing it in LNM, but NEP never claimed that NEP is giving everything new to you. NEP simply says that everyone can do this, including LNM or other institutions. And the same with the teaching learning avenues. You will possibly say laboratories. Yes, laboratories should be physical, no doubt about it. But nothing wrong with the virtual labs also. I can control the instrument sitting on the control panel from wherever I want. It will be a physical experiment. It will be a more return on investment because 24/7 the instrument is available. I cannot damage the instrument because in the program itself the safeguards are built. I can use the costly equipment on my own as a singular person and do the experiment. So these kind of avenues would be required wherever it will cut the cost, it will bring the efficiency or whatever. Same way, hackathons, obviously you must be doing. So it promotes various aspects of multidisciplinarity and transdisciplinarity. Industry internships and all that. Anyway, as you know, government is also focusing. Self-study, MOOC and all that. Credit transfers can be there. Flipped classrooms are going to be very important. I'm sure you must be doing it. And then these projects and all that, maybe with a little bit of more problem-solving angle and all that. So these are some of the avenues for teaching learning. I'm just saying about this thing. So I come to the academic bank of credit now. All right. I call this as a engine for driving some of these things which I've discussed. All right. And this is where I have worked. This is where I have contributed immensely. Of course, many others under the banner of UGC. But I was a sort of constant thread in doing all that. And I see this as a fundamentally a very correct system. And then I'll explain you some of the conditions which you're asking me in certain context here. So academic bank of credit, what happened? Okay, yeah. So, okay. These are some elements to explain it, not every element, all right, some elements to explain it. So it can allow you any subject combinations. I gave you an example in the last slide, the last to last slide. It can merge the modes, so blended teaching learning or flexible teaching learning, as I was trying to call it, can come here. It can enable lifelong learning because I know that when I'm at age of 40, 50, 60 and I want to learn something, I cannot necessarily join a regular institution or a class. So it'll this thing. I can study in any national, international institution simultaneously. Of course, 1+1 is allowed. UGC has been saying that, but it can be international also. The currency of the whole education system is going to change. It will be credit based. And Bachelor of Liberal Education, I'll explain you a little bit later. But before that, I'll just say that with this, the notion of disciplinary requirements are changing. With this, the notion of mode of education is changing, that all physical classroom, whatever, offline and all that. With this, the notion of speed and entry and exit is changing. Speed or time basically are related. With this, the notion of physical campuses and locations are breaking. With this, the notion of educational currency is changing. Earlier, education currency was degree, diploma, certificate, whatever. But today, it will be credits. I can keep credits in my bank as long as I want. The moment I want to use them for my degree, I will use the credit and buy or convert it into a degree. Like the money sitting in my bank, I can buy a mobile with that. Otherwise, the money keeps sitting there. So the new currency of education will be this. So all your fee, all your registration possibly will be credit based, or should be in a time to come. And this was an answer probably some of you are seeking. I think someone raised that I'll do multiple courses from different backgrounds. What will happen to me? We have given the answer. I can get a degree called Bachelor of Liberal Education. I will simply say that I have learned what I wanted to learn, rather than I've got a degree what institution wanted to give me. And I will, just a minute, let me just complete the sentence. And I'll justify to that why I have learned. Depth of knowledge will be in my control. All right. Depth of knowledge can be judged by you as an interviewer, whether Sandeep Sancheti knows something or not. And that is how it will satisfy my quest for knowledge, or quest for satisfying my interest, or doing something which I want to do. I may be wrong. Most of the things which we try do not necessarily lead to instant successes every second day or every other effort. But it satisfies me that I've tried it this way, something like that. Yes. Wait, let him finish. Yeah.
Very little experience of mine with the interaction with the student. Basically, there are two things. One is the placement, like the country like India, where the resources are less and everyone is rushing for the bread and butter. Basically, the government and the whatever the private sector companies, actually, if there is a break in the degree, right, their obvious question on the interview table is why there is a break. If I'm the person, I have done little bit mechanical engineering,
let's keep the
then
questions
music, and
short,
then,
because otherwise I'll not be able.
yeah.
I understand all that dynamics.
Second is about the ABC. Let's say some student did some credit earlier. Now he did some other things, and then he's coming back to the same thing. And in whatever the university he has done the credit previously, curriculum is updated in this point of time. So he has done the degree pass, the technology is
Okay, sir,
advanced, and
I got your point.
thank you.
Till now, whatever I did 40 years back, I graduated in 1982, is making me survive. Curriculum must have changed 20 times. Does it impact Sandeep Sancheti? No. Please understand, my fundamentals, my education in a given context helps me. So whatever he has attained from your university in a certain context remains with you. It doesn't get diluted. Otherwise, then we should be continuously sitting in the class, because curriculum is changing. Your mechanical engineering has happened today. 5 years down the line, you should again come back to LNM IIT for doing another thing, because curriculum has changed. No, that's a wrong concept. When it comes to what you want to say that society is not accepting, I do not know what is society. Society is us. In everything in my life, mostly, I choose my friends, I choose my spouse, I choose my house, I choose my car. I also choose my jobs in certain cases. If I'm good, I have more choices. If I'm not good, I have less choices. I choose everything. Why not in education? If society has to give me some freedom, it has to give me in education. The last answer to your thing is, this is not forced upon. You can use it if you like it. So I have not completed my explanation. I'll complete one explanation and then your question. I am a fast learner. I want to do advanced courses. I want to do my degree in 3.5 years rather than 4 years. And I wanted to learn something beyond the boundaries of whatever discipline I have. All these are the possibilities which exist in this. And I don't have money, but I want to have an international level course or whatever credits reflected in my this thing, transferred or whatever. I can do all that through this particular platform. But I don't want to do it. I can be plain and simple, no harm. No one is forcing you to do that. Society is what we built. We cannot say that society will not accept it. I have already given you the example from the Vinit's question that Googles and Microsofts are taking people with the coding or information security ability even without any degree. In fact, they are taking students who have failed a couple of times already in the higher education system are also being taken, but with the talent which they have. So today is a world where the conventional domains are going to change. You know that. The domains which were earlier very, very looked down upon in terms of service or this thing, I think those industries are doing wonderfully well. Whether you are doing goods services with the leather related thing or with the hair related thing, with the food related thing, if my son would become a cook somewhere, people will laugh at it. This is what I used to think. But today, that's possibly this all master chefs and whatnot. They are the biggest celebrities today if they can do something like that. Even if they are not there, they were shortlisted for some Michelin or something like that, they become iconic. And even if they don't become like that, they learn a lot by doing all that, and therefore whatever they are serving becomes very important. Society is what we are, and if we think we can remain static, I think that will be a big problem. Unfortunately, education has remained static for long. Even the use of technology is very reserved in our case, let me tell you. But all other domains, whether it's the banking or whether it is any other, you see, even with the reservations, they have changed and they have now stuck to it like a glue, that they love it, they like it, they cannot survive the financial world per se. Okay? Yes, please. Wait. Yeah, him.
In a mechanical engineering curriculum, I have 40 courses that I have to consider in 4 years span. And now, since I have to go for a semester-long internship, I have to complete all those 40 courses within 3.5 years, so that for half a semester I can go internship. Now, because of my own interest and because of my family peer pressure, I did engineering and studied only 13 subjects of mechanical engineering. I learned 14 subjects of management, and because of my own interest, I learned 12 subjects of music. Now I did each of them. Now afterwards, at the end of the 3.5 year, my mood changes and I go for an internship in a hotel management. Now when I'm going to, after completion of degree and graduating, and I'm going to apply for a job at the LNMIT, my CV will not got shortlisted.
एक मिनट ये बताइए, जब आपने बच्चे को एडमिशन, I'll use a crude language to answer this crudely.
Yes, sir.
आपने ठेका ले रखा है कि आप मुझे प्लेस करेंगे जब मैं यहाँ पढ़ने आऊंगा?
नहीं,
It's my choice.
सर मैं
एक मिनट सुनिए
जी,
इसलिए मैंने बोला आपको crude language कि you are not guaranteeing me a placement, certainly, and this is none of your job. I have to live my life. I pay for what I want to get educated on. I'm not surviving because of an institution or a branch. Please, for God's sake, understand. मैं अभी कह दूं कि आपको काला शर्ट ही पहन के आना, कैसा लगेगा आपको? बताइए। काला टी शर्ट ही पहन के आना है, जिस पे एलन लिखा है वही पहन के आना है, या जीन्स नहीं पहननी है, या जूते पहनने, कैसा लगेगा आपको? द पॉइंट इज, इफ ही इज डिसाइडिंग, लेट हिम. उसके बाप का बिजनेस है, वो करता रहेगा बिजनेस. उसने जो सीखना है सीखा है. Why do you force him?
No, I'm not forcing it, sir.
तो फिर
Upon
so don't go into the placement. Placement is choice.
नहीं सर, प्लेसमेंट की बात ही नहीं सर. प्लेसमेंट मैंने डिग्री कंप्लीट कर ली, ग्रेजुएशन हो गया, आई एम फुल्ली ग्रेजुएटेड नाउ इन डिफरेंट स्ट्रीम्स. अब मैं म्यूजिक स्कूल में अप्लाई करता हूँ, मैं मैनेजमेंट स्कूल में अप्लाई करता हूँ, मैं होटल मैनेजमेंट में अप्लाई करता हूँ.
यही तो मैंने कहा, आपने किसी की जिंदगी का ठेका नहीं ले रखा. आपने इंजीनियर बनाया, वो पॉलिटिशियन बनता है. दिल्ली, उत्तराखंड, उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार, सब जगह चीफ मिनिस्टर इंजीनियर रहे हुए हैं. वो राम गोपाल वर्मा बनता है, वो एक्टर बनता है, वो आईएएस बनता है, वो मैनेजर बनता है, वो फाइनेंशियल बनता है. आपने डिसाइड करा है क्या? और आपने इंजीनियर बनाया, वो बैंकर कैसे बन गया? द पॉइंट इज वेरी डिफरेंट, दैट दे, इफ दे नो, लेट देम डिसाइड इट. इफ दे डोंट नो, लेट देम फॉलो व्हाटएवर यू आर टेलिंग. और जिस दिन उसने आपसे पूछ लिया कि भाई साहब आपने मुझे सिविल, मैकेनिकल, इलेक्ट्रिकल करा दी, अब नौकरी का क्या, तो क्या जवाब दोगे? अभी तो बड़ा आसानी से पूछ रहे हो, ये सवाल जब स्टूडेंट्स में बोलोगे तो आपके चिपक जाएगा. You understand what I'm saying? The point is, he will get a degree called Bachelor of Liberal Education. And education is not only for job. I can be an entrepreneur on my own. Even if I don't want to be an entrepreneur, I have a safe life, my father has earned enough, whatever, or I want to become a sportsman, but I still want to learn something and have a degree. I can learn whatever I want. Please don't relate it to job, and please change the society if you can. We have lived in this kind of a frozen, boundaried world for a long time, and certainly in the education domain. Okay.
We have introduced most of the provision of NEP 2020, multiple entry, multiple exit.
Good.
We have started this convocation. 5 students are getting benefit of multiple exit. They are getting BSc and diploma degrees.
Good.
And ABC is now mandatory for all the students. All of them have registered. We have uploaded their data also. If anyone want to transfer to other institute or want to come from other side, we are welcoming them.
Okay, that you can tell your colleagues later.
Yes.
Because
No,
I'm
the
not
flexibility
rich,
which you are saying that someone can go for 1 semester of entrepreneurship and go to a research institute, all of that are there in our new curriculum.
But see, I'm not quoting
But it is a
LNM as
choice.
an example.
But it is
I'm
a
saying
choice.
large number of institutions and country need to do all that.
Yes.
Okay, LNM and IITs will certainly do that. But you have not done this. No one has done it. The one on the top. It's not a question of director or an institution. These are the frameworks. Use it if you so like. Okay, I may have a Ferrari available to me. To buy it while I'm living in Jaipur is my choice whether I have to buy it or not. I know that I cannot drive it even if I have a choice. So there are certain external conditions which will also control. But the choice is available that I can possibly do that. Okay. So that's the point. Yes, last point, and then I'll go to next slide. See, you will not, I can give you another half a dozen examples in the education domain itself where the 180-degree shift is there. Let me give you another crude example to make it. I used to travel for a long time from what you call Bombay, some location, to airport, and I'll cross a Bandra junction. Okay, I'm telling you this point particularly because it changed my philosophy of thinking. And at the junction, there is a turn below the flyover, and there is a mural which is put, which is probably double the life size, and it's a wired mural. Some artists must have done. I'm saying 15, 20 years back, and there a wired structure shown a lady and showing a birth being given to a kid in that sort of a thing. It is shown there. That's fine. So obviously mural will catch your attention or whatever the way it is done. But what was most intriguing part there was what was written at the end or at the bottom of this as an explanation. And the explanation was that a child giving birth to a mother. A child giving birth to a mother. Normal concept which we know, a mother gives birth to a child is what we say. But there it was written. And I must have seen it many times, and then I started pondering over it. What does it mean? What it basically means is कि जो आपको यहाँ से 6 दिख रहा है वो उधर से 9 भी हो सकता है अगर इधर से देखेंगे. Keep that openness depending upon from what view you are seeing. What view I am saying is not the view necessarily every institution should have. You can sit down. ABC के rules आपको बनाने हैं संदीप जी. आपने कहा ABC कर रहे हैं, तो मुझे ABC में मान लीजिए 50 कोर्सेज पे डिग्री मिलती है. 50 कोर्सेज कर लिए, 150 क्रेडिट हो गए. कितने कोर्सेज मुझे LNM से करने होंगे? मैं एक कोर्स करके IIT दिल्ली, IIT मद्रास की डिग्री ले सकता हूँ? नहीं ले सकता हूँ ना. तो वो जो लिमिट आपको डिसाइड करनी है वो आपको रूल्स बनाने हैं. ज़्यादातर इंस्टीट्यूशंस में भी है नहीं. तो आई कैन वेरी इजीली से, हे, you can do credits from Stanford, Harvard, bring it here. I'm very happy. But if you want my degree, you will have to have 50% credits coming from LNM itself. You may have, if you want a degree of a specific nature, these will be the core which you'll have to do. If you want a general nature, core may not be essential. I can also say that if you want a degree from LNM, I need a project to be done here because I want you to learn about the culture of education and cooperation and team working and whatever, report writing, research and all that. So you'll have to do that. So whatever framework you want to create under that, you create it. Government has not prescribed it. Government has said you are autonomous. जो छूट नीचे तक जा रही है उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि नीचे वाले को ही है, छूट आपको भी है. उसको डिग्री लेने की छूट है तो आपको डिग्री कैसे देनी है, किस कंडीशन में देनी है, वो छूट आपको भी है. Okay, I hope you understand. This freedom is percolating to the lowest level is what I'm trying to explain, but I'm not saying that it's eroding the liberty of institutions in between. लिबर्टी ऑफ टीचर्स, मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा स्लाइड्स डाल नहीं सकता था, मैंने लिख रखा था, ऐसी ही स्लाइड मेरे टीचर्स के लिए बनाई हुई है. टीचर्स इन मोस्ट केसेस आप लोग करिकुलम बना देते हैं, मैं भी बनाता हूँ, बनाया है, आपके लिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ, मेरे लिए भी कह रहा हूँ. उसके बाद हम वो मोमबत्ती लेके ढूंढते हैं इसको पढ़ाएगा कौन, और फाइनली जब कोई नहीं पढ़ाने को मिलता है तो जो बचा कुचा यहाँ आ जाता है, एंड में आता है, उसको पकड़ा दिया जाता है, थमा. मेरे साथ भी ऐसा ही हुआ और मैंने भी ऐसा ही करा होगा कुछ समय तक. दिस इज व्हाट वी डू. द reverse is true once again here 180 degree. If Sandeep Sancheti comes to LNM IIT, he should be asked what is he good at. मेरे रिक्रूटमेंट के पहले ही पूछना चाहिए मुझे क्या पढ़ा सकते हैं, क्या आपका अच्छा है. अगर मैं आया हूं तो मुझे वही चीजें पढ़ाने के लिए दी जानी चाहिए. Or at least to begin with, if I'm a young person, then 100% choices should be given. But reverse is true. आपके यहाँ शायद अच्छा होगा, पर सरकारी में तो बिल्कुल ही इस मामले में बड़ी परेशानी है. So what I'm trying to say is there are lots of things which under each one of them can be done by you. This is just a very top level view and not even complete. I didn't want to make the slide very crowded. So I've just said the concept of disciplines, the concept of time, mode, distance, the concept of currency and the branches and degrees, all are going to change if so required. You can frame your rules and deliver that the way you would like to do it. Okay. So anyway, this is ABC building block. अभी तक तो आपने IDs बनाई हैं और IDs में credits देते हैं. Degrees तो ABC के अंडर अभी तक शायद किसी ने दी नहीं है. I'm not saying that it will be flawless. Implementation flaws आएंगे, but I'm not involved in that, so I'm not responsible for that. Government is doing some people who possibly may not be aware of the intensity and the logic behind this might be doing it. So they will face issues, but over a period of time, those will be overcome. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, multidisciplinary, I need not say. In one of the questions, I possibly answered that being a commerce graduate or medical graduate, I can be politician, cinema star, cricket player, entrepreneur, civil servant, journalist, historic, diplomat, manager, financial banker, whatever it can be, writer, whatever it can be. So why bound me? I've done engineering because I thought, let me explore something, because I have to do any education, but I know what I need to do. I need to play cricket, I'll keep playing cricket. But I know in today's world, I had two of my students who used to play Ranji for Rajasthan. I'm saying in 1985, the poor guys sacrificed the career purely because the peer pressure, societal pressure, because of various things which were there, they didn't go ahead, and they still rue that they could not further their career in that. They had the potential, but वही इंजीनियरिंग में आ गए थे, हम लोग उनके पीछे पड़े थे, क्लास में बैठो, ये करो, ये एग्जाम दो, ये पास करो, ये डिवीजन लाओ, या फैमिली भी लगी हुई होगी, तो they could not pursue cricket. But today, chess, for example, yesterday there was a news on WhatsApp. I did not read it because I was traveling and it was pretty late. I was in Mangalore yesterday. जो अभी वर्ल्ड कप टीम जीती है, उनके एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशंस डिस्कस कर रहे थे उसके अंदर. आपके पास भी किसी के पास कहीं से आया होगा वो व्हाट्सएप, पढ़ लीजिएगा. आई एम नॉट सेइंग टॉप से तो हमको समझ में आता है एग्जाम्पल से, बट देयर आर मेनी अदर एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ सक्सेस विच आर देयर. मैं अपने आप के लिए कहता हूं कि जब मैं इंजीनियर बना था, I was not even 21 and I thought I should be an entrepreneur. At that time in 1982, I failed miserably because nothing was taught, nothing was known to me. Or there are many times for initial 5-6 years, I cursed myself that had I failed in 9th standard 3 times, I would have been a big Marwadi entrepreneur like many others are, because I knew that I was confident about myself. But education did not necessarily help me in achieving what I wanted to achieve. Let me tell you, my own story I can tell you. So anyway, what we are saying is you can do any degree you like, but you can do anything in the career also you like. It's your choice whether you want to relate it to engineering or whatever. I have not written researchers and teachers and faculty and all that I have anyway done. And by the way, we should remember why multidisciplinary education is purely because ultimately social, political, technical, geographical, all these functional things are required in our life as we keep progressing. And we should understand some basics of these if possible, then only we can become successful. We as engineers, when I became director or whatever, 2006, I had hardly any knowledge about management, for example. And I was asked my first 3 questions on management because I was going into the director's position. I miserably failed. It's fortunate that I answered it in a different way. Later, the 4th question, I subjected them to something and they possibly liked my answer and something happened. But I completely failed in answering those managerial or management related questions which were asked to me. So I wish those things were available during our times. Anyway, let's move on. And some of the examples, of course, multidisciplinary world, you'll probably know because you're all highly educated. So Venki Ramakrishnan, obviously physics, chemistry, biology, and various other things, and chemistry novel, and doing double graduation and whatnot, various other things, maybe double PhD also. This is a gentleman from Rajasthan whom I knew, civil engineer, taught civil, moved to mechanical, taught mechanical, moved to electronics, taught electronics, later became who-is-who of the mobile world. Those are from electronics or mobile communication side can possibly look for Vijay Garg, and you'll find that in late 90s, he did wonderful work for that. Various things. I generally find journalism students are required to do huge diversity, right from media to languages to specific field. If you're doing politics or sports or whatever, they need huge diversity. But you can possibly product level mobile, though we consider it to be electronic device, but too many other things are there. And same with the industries and industry leaders. I'll not explain them, but they come from a so-called, their existence in the world is from the multidisciplinary background is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, blended teaching learning, will not spend much time on this. There are a couple of slides. So basically, you can say that it will be choice that, as I said, when I listen, I'm best. When I read, when I'm best. When I do, when I'm best. So I'll decide how to learn in my case. Language will not be a barrier, as we know. 24/7 accessibility, etc. is there. And then those elements which I say, selecting something can also be possible in blended, not otherwise. If it is not blended, then obviously choices will be much lesser. So it can engage the students much more purposefully when they get to decide what. See, when I decide about something, I give my heart to it. When someone else decides for it, sometimes we don't. We meet a lot of students who openly say, my parents forced me to come to engineering and they don't like it. So that is a difference which will be there. I hope 10 minutes are there for me now. Organizers, please. प्लीज रेड फ्लैग कर देना कहीं पे भी जहाँ जरूरत हो. मेरी कन्वीनियंस तो शाम तक है, वो तो आप मानोगे नहीं. ठीक है. Okay, and I'll try to finish in 10-15 minutes. Okay. So anyway, a lot of people say digital is divide or whatever. There was a curse given to this. I will say it's a provide typically. आपको नहीं करना है तो आप physical करो ना, कौन force कर रहा है. Okay, you can come, teacher can also come. Basically, digital has grown much faster than any other technology. Was a steam engine a divide? Was everything in the, you can say the space or whatever is a divide? Was every other technology was a divide? Telephone took, when I graduated, I was an electronics engineer. I knew a lot about telephony, telegraphy, whatever, all these lines, switching, everything was taught to us. So I said, after becoming engineer, I should have a telephone in my home, at least as an engineer. I paid 5,000 rupees, 5 months salary. Our salary was 1,000 rupees as an own your telephone in 1985. I never owned that telephone. I lost money and I never owned that telephone. So technology will not come to 100% in a single shot. All right. It took so many years for technology of that nature to come to us. but now it's getting very fast. India is one of the cheapest when it comes to bandwidth. I see every other Tom, Dick and Harry, whether in auto or whether doing painting or doing cooking or whatever it is, seeing live things, whatever they want, movies and everything on demand. So digital is providing, whether you use it rightly or wrongly is your choice. You see wrong things is a different choice. All right. So we associate mostly blended with offline and online. All right. And I'm just giving a small description in the next slide for this. Reason for that is I was in the UGC committee, which during the Corona times defined what is blended. We did a lot of good work. At the end of it, it goes to one of the university. UGC puts it up on the site. And the university protests that by doing this, you are going to remove our teachers who are ad hoc teachers. You are going to cut down the position of teachers because teachers' requirement will become less and all. This is the same funda which banks had sometime when the computers got introduced. And so obviously ministry asked us, sir, how do we defend and this and that. Then we came out with something, what is blended in terms of some of the terminologies. It's not only offline and online. There can be some overlaps here. It's not very specific. It can be in class or out of class. It can be face-to-face or remote. It can be synchronous, non-synchronous. You are all technology background people. You'll understand. Real or virtual, online or e-learning, physical or distance, in situ or ex situ, single or group, passive or interactive, project-based, whatever, research-based, whatever. Blended can be of anything. You can blend anything. कोई भी मसाला कोई भी सब्जी में डाल सकते हो जब तक आपको उसको इंटरेस्ट है. Okay, if आपको इंटरेस्ट नहीं मत डालिए. आप you eat the plain simple boiled vegetable, doesn't matter. It's up to you. But this is and this may not be very exhaustive. You can define your own thing, what you want to do with AR, VR, animations, whatnot, whatever you are doing, hands-on, whatever physical demonstrations which you can do, various things you can do. So this is what we have to keep in mind, that we are not forcing anything, yet whatever is best. See, when I was a student, I know, sir, pardon me for that. Of course, mechanical was not very essential for us. So we were taught mechanical in first year, and the teacher would come, and the poor guy will try to explain us the steam engine. To do that, he'll have to draw a few things on this thing, and by the time the class was gone, people have disappeared, doing mischief. He's taking time to draw, because without drawing, he cannot do anything. So the so-called OHP became a boon at that time, that one shot, and he's able to see the picture clearly, and he's able to explain various things. The same thing happened with various other stages of technology in teaching, but not very extensive, all right? So it's up to us how we want to do it. Teacher was good, but the students have nothing to do for that 15, 20, 30 minutes when he's drawing all that, and without drawing it properly, he cannot explain it also. And you can understand the nature of young kids at that age, with whatever intensity they sit in class or whatever. They need to be engaged purposefully, and then only they love it. So like that, the blending can happen. So some of these have overlaps, and some of these might be missing also. Okay. Okay, and the other thing with this is, I think more emphasis should be on learning rather than teaching. पहले teaching पे बहुत होता था, अभी learning पे थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा emphasis है. So one of the biggest skill which I would like to deliver would be an ability to learn. If I can deliver that to my student, possibly I'll make him a very good student, is what I think. And therefore, learning is getting focused. Learning can be through some of these things, generating ideas, which we don't discuss generally. We actually stop discussions in the class if something happens and suddenly an idea occurs to me. I discuss it with my neighbors, or write something or do something, or some attention or some thinking. I'm just blindly, focusing on something to think about that. The teacher will possibly catch me, Sandeep, where is your attention? You're not in the class. What are you doing? Why are you talking? I think the group activities should become a norm in certain classes. If you are in a flipped classroom, much more than that. So maybe some of these ideas can be good learning processes which are there. Exposure to real world and cooperative learning, case studies and all that can happen. And these are anyway the standard things. So learning should be focused upon, and teaching learning a little bit of off balance in my opinion. Earlier it used to be more teaching, and we probably could not emphasize great deal on learning, but there is a more need, because the learning has to go from 25 to 75 also later. So they should develop that ability to learn. In addition to problem solving, communication, leadership, and various other attributes which all these economic forums and other bodies, industry bodies keep shelling out. As a teacher, we should focus on that. I may be an electronics engineer. I gave you the example of Vijay Garg, but I can do wonderfully well in other domains also. All administrators are like that. All managers are like that, something like that. So anyway, we should do it. Some of the good practices, obviously you must be doing all, I'm sure, more design orientation, more research orientation. Research should be the flavor right from the first year or right from the entry. As I said, when I buy a cloth, I do research. When I buy a house, when I buy a car, I do research. These days, when we go to a restaurant, it's research. आज साउथ इंडियन है, आज फलाना है, आज लेबनीज है, आज थाई है, इटालियन है, हम करते हैं रिसर्च. उसमें भी कौन सा लेना, कैसा लेना, various things we try to do. Research means not necessarily everything is deep research. Research for me is a terminology for research, development, innovation, testing, consultancy, entrepreneurship, incubation, various elements broadly come under the umbrella of research which is there. Okay, so these things can be done. Some of the benefits obviously is effective utilization of time, कि मेरे को सुबह शाम की बजाय मैं नौकरी करता हूँ तो मुझे रात को पढ़ना है या सुबह पढ़ना है तो मैं कर सकता हूँ. Can be more increased interaction because there are more channels other than the classroom channel, various other things which are there. But in most cases, in certain attributes like this, which we want in all the services for us or products for us, reliable, reproducible, reconfigurable, repeatable, whatever is scalable are missing. Education should also do because we have to go to a GER of 50%. Please understand, GER of 50%. In 75 years plus, we have attained only 30% now. 27 was the figure given by NEP. So I believe it must be 30% now. 75 साल में हमें 30% पे पहुंचे हैं और अगले 10-15 साल में 50% पे पहुंचना है और वो भी with an increased base of population. So you can imagine, so we'll need some of these features for education systems to be going. So for sure, there'll be a lot of good clientele for all educational institutions which are there today, provided they are very adaptive to the learners or the education seekers, and they are good in quality also. So that's a requirement which will be there. Okay, faculty's role, maybe there is something. I'll not give a full slide here. Faculty's role can be changing like this. Forget about that you do just the classroom teaching. When I entered into education world as a teacher, my role was only to do work on the blackboard, and that was sufficient for me, maybe a little bit here and there. But today, you can say you will be doing more of a mentor, counselor, facilitator, whatever. A student wants to connect with industry or wants to learn something about new subject or something, also you'll have to do. Evaluator, researcher, innovator, entrepreneur, friend, consultant, administrator. And most important, of course, is that a teacher has to be a lifelong learner. If a teacher is not himself a student, himself or herself a student, chances are that very soon he'll face some challenges or various things. Okay, let's come to the last point. I'm not supposed to give any internal information, which anyway I'm not going to dwell upon, but accreditation is something very important, I think, which is what brings all of us together here today. I'm not necessarily, I was part of NBA for a long time, for 15 years, and took it to the Washington Accord clearance. And there were things which we devised and which have been followed in the NBA since then. But after that, it was a mandatory for us to make an exit because we coined the system and therefore we could not have continued. And after that, I didn't have time to continue with those things. But NBA and these are not very different, except that one of them both of them would basically fall in rating, but there is a ranking which is taking precedence over the ratings, so which we'll discuss. But in any case, let's understand that an outcome basis possibly can be understood in this. You can eliminate one of them if you find overlap. You can add one of them if you find finer grain of your understanding to be required. So data is an important thing for everything we know, new oil or whatever. Data leads to information. This leads to knowledge. Possibly knowledge and intelligence has some sort of an overlap, you can say. But wisdom is something seeing beyond. I may be knowing something today, but wisdom is going beyond. A little bit of intuition, a little bit of positioning beyond. So आज से 10 साल बाद क्या होना है, 5 साल बाद क्या होना है. That may lead to what you call, you have some wisdom to do something. But all that should lead to some good applications. An application should have relevance, and even if everything is there, it should have an impact. That is the cycle of outcome. Let me tell you, world is developing tools for measuring the end point. My own company, Elsevier, is doing a lot of tools now for making the impact. We have done the 4th generation university concept with the University of Eindhoven in Holland. And they decided certain goals for themselves 4 or 5 years back, and they wanted to be measured. It's like a performance analysis, you can say, in crude terms, simple terms. And they said that this is our objective, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to check whether we are on the right track and all that. Those things are being developed. So you can do the impact analysis socially, you can do the impact analysis economically, not only just simple passing or not only simple placement, it can be much beyond that. So this has to be done. And just to give you an example that why this last point is important, this particular is important. How many of you are electronics people here? Just raise the hands. Oh, quite a few. Oh, very nice. Okay. How many of you are from the communication background, if electronic communication? Quite, again. So you might have heard of Iridium. Iridium was a constellation of satellite. The name derived from the this number of Iridium 77. So initially when this was planned, it was a constellation of 77 satellites. By the way, Starlink is coming to India through Airtel. This is today's news. And it's the same set of satellites, you can possibly say lower Earth satellites, which are going to deliver that unhindered, high speed, low latency connectivity to internet in the world. He is a satellite man here. So you'll probably know. So Iridium was a constellation of 77 satellites, but when launched, it became a constellation of 66. For whatever reason, they must have done correction. And it was in late 90s and early 2000, this was there. India was struggling with everything, especially technology and especially telecom. And therefore, India became a part along with other countries in this particular space and invested heavily, because this would have given you the mobile connectivity, seamless mobile connectivity. And I used this telephone in year 2000 in an exhibition where I think Siemens or AT&T or someone had demonstrated that. Fortunately, one of my students was showcasing that or demonstrating it, so I got to use that. It went through the entire cycle of whatever was there, application was there, relevance was there, high, but it failed in impact. At that time, the cost of one call was something like 30, 40 rupees a second, which only good people or very rich people could have said, hey, I have a connectivity, but the other side may not have the same thing where you're trying to call. And therefore, it did not make an impact. But that succeeded in every part of the cycle. Relevance was highest for India. Application was ready-made that India needed telephones like crazy. All right. Various things were there. Very foresighted thing that how can you do 66 satellites? And even today, many of you or we would not know so well about the free space optical communication, line of sight between two objects through the free space wireless, optical wireless. Those were the things which were used as a technology in that way back 20 years back. And it was a technical marvel for me. As a layman, I would say that I just loved it that we as electronics or telecom engineers could do something like that, but it failed. So please understand the importance of the cycle of some outcome basis. The outcome fails here if it does not make an impact. A lot of projects, when you're today writing to various agencies, you'll possibly find this question being asked to you right in the upfront. And to ensure that there are applications and relevance, they are forcing you to do industry or some partnerships here and there, various things they're trying to do. Okay, so that's because of this cycle. So that's outcome basis or outcome based things. So in whatever you try to do, you keep an objective. For example, when we made ABC, we didn't make ABC for 100% students. We simply said that this could be good for the fast learners, fastest learners, and this could be very good for slowest learners also. And that was the objective. In between, if someone wants to take a little bit of advantage, can take it. Now here, when it comes to the accreditation or possibly outcome-based analysis, whatever, these are based on what you call input, process, output, outcome, and impact. These are having overlaps, as you can possibly see. Output will be that मैंने इतने engineer बना दिए, इतनी degree दे दी है, वो हो गया. Outcome possibly could be that they are all employed. They are all being placed through LNMIT could be a good outcome which can be there. Output is an engineer outcome, and impact could be they have won the laurels and they have won the recognition, and more companies are coming and they are giving them increments and this and that possibly can be an impact. So you understand, right now our accreditation is more focused on this and then this and partly on this. But these are going to be important in the light of what I said earlier to you, and that is how the world is changing. There are many elements under which the assessments will happen. I have not necessarily done everything here. I've just added some randomly and not necessarily logically or sequentially. But environmental sustainability SDGs are going to be a big focus. By the way, before I forget, let me tell you, in India, even the Indian knowledge system, Indian languages and all that are also going to be a big focus for accreditation. Take my word for that. All right, whether you do it or not, Sandeep ji will tell. अच्छी बात है, पर किस लेवल पे एक कोर्स पढ़ा दिया उससे तो सब काम हो नहीं जाता. हाँ, what I'm saying is उसका भी इम्पैक्ट देखना पड़ेगा आपको आखिर तक. जो भी आप करेंगे तब जाके बात बनेगी. खाली अभी आप इनपुट या प्रोसेस की बात कर रहे हैं, आउटपुट तो निकला ही नहीं है या निकलेगा आप उसका. सो यू कीप मूविंग बिटवीन दिस साइकिल. सम लूप्स विल गेट कंप्लीटेड हियर, सम हियर, वेयरएवर यू फील लाइक यू कंप्लीटेड. सो वो मैंने लिखा नहीं था, इसलिए आपको अभी बता दिया कि इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम एंड वेरियस अदर थिंग्स विल आल्सो कम. Then, of course, stakeholder involvement, governance, all that. Student-centric education and diversity, already we have talked about that. Student outcomes, placement, industry connect also will be important. Research, innovation, entrepreneurship, so many terms of research are there. Economical, societal and policy impacts. आपने जाना होगा कि जब NIRF आया, you know the NIRF. What is your position currently in NIRF? I think you should have been better, in my opinion, with whatever perception I have about institutions. You should have in erstwhile आर्या में कभी आपको रैंक मिली थी? वो भी बहुत नीचे थी आपके पोटेंशियल के हिसाब से या जो होनी चाहिए थी. So anyway, what I'm saying is इम्पैक्ट पे आपको ध्यान रखना है कि आपको उससे रिटर्न क्या मिल रहा है या क्या आउटपुट है, कैसे मेजर हो रहा है. पर आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ें, तो जैसे NIRF जब हमारा चालू हुआ था तो पहले पेटेंट्स, तो पेटेंट्स फाइल पे जनता ने खूब फाइल करने चालू कर दिए, लेफ्ट राइट सेंटर, कोई ऑस्ट्रेलिया, कोई न्यूजीलैंड, कोई कहीं, कोई रशियन ग्रुप ऑफ कंट्रीज जो भी है, खूब होने लग गए. उसके बाद आया कि नहीं पेटेंट पब्लिश्ड, वो भी हो गए. उसके बाद आया कि नहीं पेटेंट ग्रांटेड, वो भी हो गया. उसके बाद आया कि पेटेंट कॉमर्शलाइज, तो आपने मुझे भेज दिया, मैंने विनीत को भेज दिया, हो गया दोनों का कॉमर्शलाइज, तो वो भी गड़बड़ हो गया. उसके बाद आया कि पैसे कितने कमाए, वो भी आप लिख दोगे इतने कमाए, तो वो पूछेंगे फिर टैक्स कितना दिया. तो ये कहानी कभी ख़त्म नहीं होनी कि आप कहाँ चेक होंगे, क्या उसका इम्पैक्ट है और क्या उसका असेसमेंट मेथड है. ये चीज़ें बदलती रहेगी. और पेटेंट और इस टाइप की जिस चीज़ को आप नॉवल गिनते हैं, वो अगर पॉलिसी में रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं होती है तो फिर उसका इम्पैक्ट बहुत कम होगा. मैंने बहुत अच्छी चीज़ बनाई, मैंने ABC बना दी, मैंने 2 साल काम करा है, पर ये पॉलिसी लॉन्च नहीं होती तो क्या इम्पैक्ट होता. आप बात भी नहीं करना चाहते मुझसे. अभी मैं बताता तो ये बोले यार ठीक है, हो गया जो हो गया, ख़त्म करो, ये तो पॉलिसी तो है नहीं, हमें करना नहीं है. बट द मोमेंट इट बिकेम अ पॉलिसी, इट बिकेम इम्पैक्टफुल. आप चाहते नहीं चाहते हैं, आपको ABC ID करके कुछ ना कुछ उसको अभी करना पड़ रहा है, और आगे जाते जाते और इवॉल्व होगी या इम्प्रूव होगी. एजुकेशन इज अ स्लो प्रोसेस, वी अंडरस्टैंड, बट द चेंज इज अ कॉन्स्टेंट and you should adopt it. That's what is my message. Anyway, so these will be the evaluation parameters, and most of them will be, I do not know what percentage, ultimately it's in a work in progress. Most of them will be here in last 3. Input का जमाना अब गया, इनपुट तो मान के ही चलेंगे. और आपको बता देता हूँ, जहाँ तक NAC की बात है, राधाकृष्णन कमेटी रिपोर्ट आपने सुनी होगी, NEP भी पता, खाली NEP ही बेस नहीं, NEP ने तो रिफॉर्म्स का कहा है. Then there was a Radhakrishnan committee report. You can see it on various sites here and there if you hit it. And they are quite clear that what are going to be important, how we are going to go ahead, what will be measured and all that. So various things will be there. So you start learning that and gradually adopting it into your system. Because even if you're not going for NAC or NBA, does not matter, but those are good things. Okay. Telling them about sustainability, environment or SDGs is a good thing. Every person should be knowledgeable that am I wasting something? Am I impacting something adversely or not? Irrespective of the degree he or she is getting. All right. So that's the point here, which we are saying. So these will be the parameters of importance, and impact measurement is going to be a very difficult thing. Let me tell you. Country like India has lesser mechanism, poor methods of collecting data, and maybe some integrity issues, as we know in certain cases, can lead to a lot of difficulty in impact. But we have to try it. We cannot just forego it. सर इंडिया में तो नहीं हो सकता, वो बात नहीं है. ठीक है. वाशिंगटन अकॉर्ड को लाने में भी हमें 10-1 साल लगे, जहाँ तक मुझे ध्यान है, जिस दिन से चालू हुए. 2-1 साइकिल में रीट्रेट हुआ, क्लोज हुआ, वापस ओपन हुआ, वगैरह वगैरह करके ऐसे हुआ. Anyway, these are the two frameworks which you know. Some names I have given: NBA, NAC, NIRF, ranking, and the other one is rating. Ranking में QS, THE, NIRF आ गया, रीजनल, एनुअल इनके फीचर्स होते हैं. कभी एशिया कर देते हैं, कभी ब्रिक्स का कर देते हैं, कभी साउथ ईस्ट एशिया कर देते हैं कुछ, या कभी अब तो जैसे राजस्थान टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी भी अपनी रैंकिंग देता है तो देता है. Obviously you don't fall in that, but they give it to their institutions who are affiliated to them. So everyone gives that. All right. And these are for shorter period and program based. Generally NBA is program based, as you know. You must be getting something like 3 to 5 disciplines for which you will be visited soon. Okay. When was your last NBA done? And NAC was last time, first time only. And you got A+? A only. I think you deserve a much better ranking or rating, both, I would say. And I would also say that in the context of whatever I know, because I subjected my institutions to these things, I must very proudly say to you that India's only institution whose NBA was never rejected was under my leadership. India's institution which has received highest ever marks in NBA, in the life of NBA, was belonging to me. And when it comes to NAC, India's first institution which got NAC A++ was led by me when we got it. Even in the second one, I was associated, but very, very mildly or remotely connected. ISC Bangalore was the second institution, by the way, to get the A++. All right. So I have had the exposure, I know, and of course I make the policies and various other things which I do. From there, I would say that you have delayed it a lot. You should subject yourself to that. Whether you get good grades or not is a very secondary thing. But improving, proving, attempting, learning will be the biggest benefit of that. When I get an audit done, I don't get audited because I want to get a rank. I want to do the audit so that I remove the ills from the system. What is weakness in the system? When I go to doctor, I don't want to get a rank that a doctor gave me that I'm the best person or patient you might have seen in terms of fitness. No, I just want to tell him that, tell me what is wrong with my body, if I can take care of that in advance. That should be the purpose of this, what you call the accreditation and all that. The second thing is, of course, rating. NAC, ABET, AMBA, and all that are there. Maybe you don't. You do management? No. So anyway, some ABET possibly would be applicable to you. And a lot of people have started doing. IEEE and IEEE also do, and some industry people also do. TCS and all that, they also tend to do. So I have not listed everything. It's more overall and holistic, as you know. Generally institutional, and this is generally domain or specialization based. And these are typically regional or whatever, and this is different. These are for longer period and more stable. These are for shorter period and this thing. So ratings change every year, rankings change every year. Today it's IIT Madras, tomorrow it's IIT Bombay, then IIT Delhi, whatever it may be. These things keep changing, ISC or whatever. And the moment it goes by down number 1, that I was first for 3 years and this year I have come second, everyone will put finger on me, raise finger on me. What happened to you? You become second. Tell me, what is the difference between 91.1 and 91? In an assessment, in a holistic assessment, in a very complex assessment scenario, what is the difference between 91.1 and 91? Hardly any. 91.1 will get 1 rank and I'll get 2nd rank. But do the second attempt in the same year around the same time, you may find that I'll get 92 and he'll get 90, he or she will get 90. The point is, it's subjected to many variations, vagaries of assessment, and therefore, in my opinion, rankings are not very stable. Privately, I know a lot of people in India, top brass, who have led these things. Privately, they all agree, let's not do it. But ultimately, they are forced to do it. And some people say, no, it helps the parents to choose the institution. I say that I want to be a mining engineer because my father has a mining in Rajasthan. How would this top 100 helping me? There's none covered in mining. Even if there is one covered in mining, which may be a new start in some top 100, doesn't mean that mining is best there. The point is, every system is flawed. Okay, nothing is perfect. Every system has some flaws. So ranking has a little bit more flaw. Rating is more stable, that it is for the holistic thing. It's for more time. It covers many facets and aspects which are there. So these are basically, and then we require the research evaluation framework, academic evaluation framework, socio-economic impact evaluation, etc. for that, which are all going to be complex. This work is done quite extensively now from the databases which we have. By the way, most of the companies, Web of Science or Scopus or UGC Care List or whatnot, whatever other databases which are there, gives us this. This is a very systematic. Of course, there are also a lot of wrongs happen. Integrity is the issue everywhere in the world for many things. So a lot of wrongs can happen. But academic evaluation framework is now getting developed. It's divided. My company is developing. I'm helping them in certain thing called academic evaluation framework, which has 5 major parameters and 31 sub-parameters under which the academic evaluation will come. And they are proving it, and they are doing it with some of the world's top institutions by partnering them, taking their data, working with them, and developing models around that. All right. So I named to you the 4th generation university was done by partnering with the Eindhoven, which is there. But some of the world's top in different regions, they have the partnerships, and through that they are developing these frameworks. Not in India right now because we possibly are not so data centric or maybe so much interested in terms of time and cost. And I must tell you that the UK did its research evaluation some few years back as a country, and the cost was immense in terms of getting it done. But that helps them to do the corrections which are required in the entire system. What is working, what is not working, where the duplications are happening, where the wastages are happening, where the teams are not good, and things of that nature, where the industry is not getting benefit out of that. All those things were analyzed. So these are going to be important. Right or wrong, these will come. In 2011, first performance audit of central government happened with my institution. They used to do only the financial audit, and they came. They hardly knew anything. They sat with us, and at the end of this, for 1 month, they sat down and they said, sir, we are learning. And they profusely thanked us that we have learned a lot about what is performance and how to analyze that. They hardly knew anything. But I'm sure this must be deep-rooted by now. So that's how we have to evolve. We should become vehicles for development of some new schemes and new policies. When you do that, you become the leader automatically because you gain a lot of insight. That's something very important. My last slide now. I hope any questions on this? This is something which is of great deal interest to you. Any question on NBA or NAC? I'll try to answer. I'm not the best, but I'll still try to say something. No questions here? You're all ready for, looks like NBA. Okay, fine. And this is a new framework which NAC is developing, by the way. And this is my last slide here. Under NEP and Radhakrishnan Committee report and various other subcommittees which are there, we met last month also on certain things. On 16th and 17th of Feb, we were there. So it's going to be a new binary kind of a system, as they call it. Okay, but that's only at the initial level. And then comes the role of maturity-based graded levels, which will be level 1 to level 5. Right now, government is wanting to know that what might be these frameworks, and then only they will allow the launching of this. It's something like that you are starting the journey, but they also want to know your destination, where you want to reach, and therefore they are probably being a little guarded about it. Obviously, quantity will be a lesser focus, quality will be higher focus, and some of the quality will be based on who are the users and beneficiaries and the impact and all that. So there will be qualitative analysis giving that. Quantity will be less, but quantity will remain, as I told you. Inputs and outputs, once again, there will be some differentiation which will be there. This will be less and this will be more. Data would be categorized in a certain way, and one nation, one data possibly will be required for that. So data collection methods, data frequency, and all that will become very important, and they'd like to define. If I think Sandeep ji has gone, do you have an IQAC? Okay, so IQACs are supposed to dish out reports at a certain frequency and all that. So these are nothing but data-driven reports which are there. And then ultimately, assessments will become more, you can say, online or automatic and less on-site, the physical. Some of the problems, you know, in recent times what happened. Some of those problems are prevailing for a long time. But this component will be less. But certainly for the higher levels, these levels will be level 1 to 5. Beyond the 0 level, there'll be 5 more levels. But when it comes to some of the higher levels, the visit will become essential. All right, you can say lots of policies on paper, you can generate, but when you see things on the ground, then only you believe it. So this component also change. So this is how the whole scenario of this will be changing. My suggestion to you as a conclusion would be that do it irrespective of what you get or what you deserve. Something or else will improve. मेरे घर में जब मेहमान आते हैं या बोलते हैं आएंगे, तो हो सकता है कि घर की सफाई भी थोड़ी सी होती है, अरेंजमेंट भी थोड़ा सा होता है, खाना भी कुछ अलग तरीके से बनता है कि वो आएगा खाएगा तो कुछ करेंगे वगैरह वगैरह. It prepares you a little better for the future and things you ought to do otherwise. If that does not happen, I'm not least bothered कपड़े कैसे पड़े हैं, सामान कैसे पड़ा है, गंदा साफ जो भी है, I can possibly sustain with that. So these external interventions of your peer group assessing you for certain things can be indirectly a feedback, can be a boon for you to be on a right path of correction if so required. And by the way, let me tell you that everyone requires that. Every institution, even if you're number 1 in the world, they do it. I give you an example of Stanford and Harvard. In recent times, in last 3 months, I met 3 experts of Harvard in Jaipur itself. And that is in the Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti, the Jaipur foot people. They are doing different projects with them and for them and almost at 0 cost. And they do it because they want social recognition. They want to make contributions to the lowest of the society so that they feel satisfied from within. They say that we make a lot of money from here and there. We can earn money. Money is not the consideration. Here the consideration is slightly different. All right. So you need to do many diverse things, and we have differences with them on certain things. They think technologically that ये होगा वो होगा, इसकी cost ये होगी, उसका वो होगा, इसका license ये होगा, उसका जो भी आप कहें पेटेंटिंग का डोमेन ये रहेगा, ऐसा रहेगा, ये कॉमर्शियल होगा, जो भी है वी हैव, बट स्टिल वी वर्क टुगेदर इन स्पाइट ऑफ ऑल दोस चैलेंजेस. So I'll request you to subject yourself to the best of the challenges and best of the outside world so that you learn from them and improve. With that, thank you so much. Thank you for your patience, time, and everything. And thanks to Vineet and Sandeep, both my namesake, for inviting me here.
We thank you for taking up this call. This program was organized very hurriedly. And I am actually having an honor of having his affection every time. And there's a lot to learn. Every time he delivers something, we have a lot to learn from him that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. By the way, I'm open to any questions privately. You can write to me on email. You can meet me right now or whenever till the time I'm here. And I'm open to criticism because I know that everything which we are attempting need not be success. We are not superhumans. We don't have that touch of gold that जो हमने बोल दिया वो सही हो गया. But we are attempting to improve or change or diversify or whatever. And in that process, some new things, some good things can happen. That's the whole. Thank you, sir. Again.
Exam on demand.
टीचर में डिमांड
आप टीचर होके घबराएंगे, मैं नहीं घबराऊंगा, आपको परेशान करके खुश हो जाएगा।
बहुत बड़ी चीज ऐड करा रहा हूँ आपको मैं कि लड़का बोलेगा कि घर आके पढ़ाओ।
नहीं, आप कह सकते हो कि मैं नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा, घर पढ़ना है तो ट्यूशन वाले से ले आया।
आप जस्ट सेइंग कि under the freedom student can demand, we can reject, there is a different issue. But
Everything in our life, sir, is.
but if you can give us some idea about the exam on demand, what exactly it conveys.
You want me to attain a certain level. I am a slow learner, I cannot. पर आपकी एग्जाम की डेट तो इसी में डिसाइड हो चुकी है कि नेक्स्ट एग्जाम कब होना। You are not caring for my ability or my disabilities or my interest or disinterest or whatever it is. It's just a handle. Most of the people will say, यार मेरे को तो 4 साल की डिग्री 4 में ही करनी है। ज़्यादातर 5 में भी नहीं करना चाहेंगे, 3.5 में भी नहीं करना चाहेंगे। उनको लगेगा नहीं यार हॉस्टल की लाइफ तो अच्छी है, मजे करो, अभी यहाँ पे थोड़ा छूट मिली हुई है, कुछ और करो। So the point here is, there might be genuine cases, there might be genuine requirements. अभी आप क्या करते हैं, अभी भी एग्जाम तो कराते हैं उसका डिमांड पे एक तरीके से। सर मैं बीमार हो गया, ये फलाना मर गया, ये कंपटीशन में गया, को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा था। मेरे खुद के लड़के ने जब इंजीनियरिंग करी थी, छोटे वाले ने 4 साल में से 3 साल ऐसे ही हुआ उसका एग्जाम डिमांड पे। मेरे कहने से नहीं, उसके द्वारा ही हुआ और उसके टीचर द्वारा ही हुआ। मैंने कुछ भी नहीं कहा, कभी नहीं कहा। तो मैंने उसको कहा है कि अभी ज़्यादा मत करो, तो यू शुड बी इन द मेन स्ट्रीम, बिकॉज कभी बीमार हो गए, कभी चोट लग गई, कभी कॉलेज को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, कभी और कुछ हो गया। So the point is, it's not meant for everyone. Consider it can be given on certain these conditions. So these are fancy things. It's something like that कि मिले नहीं मिले, मेरे दिमाग में तो है ना कि मेरा भी बहुत बड़ा महल जैसा घर हो और मेरे भी 4 BMWs या फलाना फलाना। What is wrong? Okay, if you can aspire and you think you want to aspire for that, do it. But would everyone get it? Certainly not. Would everyone require it? Not. मुझे कोई अभी फेरारी दे तो मैं हाथ जोड़ के बोल दिया ले जा, जिस दिन आऊंगा चाहिए ही ले लूंगा, अभी नहीं चाहिए। मैं कहाँ चलाऊंगा उसको? घर में भी इसको स्टार्ट करूंगा तो जूम करेगी तो लोग बहुत परेशान होंगे सोसाइटी के अंदर कि भाई साहब ये कर क्या रहे हो आप, क्या लिया है यहाँ। So the point is, provisions are made to satisfy people's imagination, interest, requirements, whatever it is. They need not be omnipresent for everyone. मुझे बहुत लोग बोलते सर एबीसी हमारे कंपल्सरी करती। कंपल्सरी तो कुछ है ही नहीं, सारा ऑटोनॉमी है। ऑटोनॉमी स्टूडेंट को भी। अभी तक ऑटोनॉमी किसको थी सर? ऑटोनॉमी बहुत ज्यादा जानते हैं, बहुत मजाक में कहता था, डोंट टेक इट अदरवाइज। आज आपके डायरेक्टर भी नहीं है और दूसरे वाइस चांसलर भी नहीं है, तो मैं कह सकता हूँ। अब तो मैंने कहना छोड़ दिया कि आज से 5-7 साल पहले मैंने ऑटोनॉमी आपके आर्टिकल्स भी लिखे हैं मेरे, and I practice it to it. Let me tell you in my own way. But I'll certainly consult my stakeholders. I'm not a dictator कि मैंने जो कर दिया, but I'll consult you if you are an interested group in that. So autonomy में, for whatever reason, I was practicing it, and I never had a challenge with UGCs, AICTs, or anyone in my life. Though I've been a vice chancellor for 17 years, leading all kinds of institutions, difficult ones and good ones also. That has happened, but nothing. तो वाइस चांसलर्स के लिए ऑटोनॉमी के लिए एक मेरा छोटा सा जो मजाक था कि किसी वाइस चांसलर को रात को नींद में तो उठाओ और वो अल्लाह दिन का चिराग आ जाए, और वो चिराग घिसने के बाद वो पूछता है आपसे कि मेरे आका आपको क्या चाहिए, तो चांसेस आर कि पूरा वाइस चांसलर विल से कि भाई मुझे थोड़ी ऑटोनॉमी दे दो, ये उसकी डिमांड होगी। ये लेवल था ऑटोनॉमी का। मैं बहुत सारे वाइस चांसलर से सुनता, मैं एआईयू का प्रेसिडेंट भी रहा हूँ, तो प्रैक्टिकली सबसे मुलाकात होती थी डिफरेंट फोरम्स पे। तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे सर मेरी ये रोड रिपेयर का काम ये नहीं करते हैं, मेरे को ये क्लियरेंस नहीं देते हैं, यहाँ पे डिप्टी फाइनेंस वाला ये कर देता है, वहाँ पे ये कर देता है, एग्जामिनेशन वाला बोलता है सीक्रेसी। अरे नहीं, देयर रोल इज टू सपोर्ट द पॉलिसी विच यू मेक। How can they not do it? If they don't do it, that's a dereliction of duty. You should know how to handle that. All right. So the point here is कि autonomy अभी तक institutions में कम थी तो VC ने कह दिया जो हो गया। अभी भी हमारे कुछ बात आई थी, सर डायरेक्टर साहब ने कहा, डायरेक्टर साहब तो आपकी वजह से डायरेक्टर है, आप सर ने कहा, जब वो कहलाएगा कि आपने कहा या एलन ने कहा, डायरेक्टर साहब के कहने से क्या होता है। तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि लीडरशिप एक अपनी जगह है, ऑटोनॉमी। तो ये ऑटोनॉमी अगर थी तो भी एक बहुत सीनियर पोजीशन पे थी या इंस्टीट्यूशन लेवल पे थी। कितने डिपार्टमेंट वाले क्रिप करते हैं कितनी सारे इंस्टीट्यूशन में कि हमारे जो इंस्टीट्यूशन ने ये पॉलिसी बना दी, हमें छूट नहीं दी। फिर बाद में डिपार्टमेंट के अंदर वो एचओडी को गाली देते हैं कि एचओडी ऐसे करता है, ये टाइम दे दिया, इस दिन तक रिजल्ट, इस दिन एग्जाम, इतने पेपर, फलाना ढीगड़ा जो भी है। ऑटोनॉमी बहुत कम होती जाती है जैसे नीचे जाते हैं। और बेचारा स्टूडेंट जो पैसे देता है, टाइम देता है, और जिसके लिए हम बिजनेस में है, धंधे में है, जो भी कहें आप, उसको तो कोई ऑटोनॉमी होती ही नहीं थी। So these schemes are trickling the autonomy to the lowest level. That is the only effort. How to use it, when to use it, who will use it, is all facts. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a wonderful talk.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights on OB and the critical role of accreditation in shaping the future of higher education. I now request Professor Manju Dhariwal ma'am to provide a token of